Hello, everybody. Welcome to What's Wrong with Richard Rushfield. Today, we're joined by a very special guest, an actual living hero walking amongst us. I'm referring to the man of the hour right now, Ben Steinberg, the doyen, the author of the Save Your Cinemas. I always want to say Save Our Cinemas, but Save Your Cinemas. That would more appropriate campaign that has been sort of single-handedly leading the charge to save LA theater places in general, and specifically, really has made a cause for years now to restore the Cinerama Dome and the ArcLight Theater, which yesterday, after years of this lonely pursuit, was successful at last, and we had an announcement that Sony Pictures and Alamo is going to take over and reopen the Cinerama Dome, which is I think I cried when I heard the news. I was so I mean, it's such a huge thing, and your work staying on this just shows what one individual who is persistent and focused and passionate can do. So, welcome, Ben Steinberg.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so glad. So, just to start out, so tell us how all this got started for you. How
Mhm.
you came to found the Save Our Cinemas, Save Your Cinemas.
Uh, yeah, I created the petition to save the Cinerama Dome within minutes of finding out that it wouldn't reopen. This was back in like March 2021,
2000. So
and
this 2021. So 5 years you've been on this case.
yeah, but I've been waiting for 6 years because they closed it in March 2020. But yeah, I created that petition and that went viral really quickly. It got over 31,000 signatures and like media attention. And then after that, I created the social media channels, which was originally Save the Cinerama Dome or Save ArcLight.
Mhm.
And I was providing updates on their potential reopening because I know they were planning on actually reopening it themselves. And then in 2023 or 24, I can't remember, I broke the news that they completely canceled the reopening. And then that's when it sort of pivoted into a little bit more aggressive in trying to save the Cinerama Dome. And it also became Savior Cinema, not just like the ArcLight Hollywood
Right.
complex. And then yeah, and then
That
yeah.
and yesterday. So what was it about the closure of the Cinerama Dome and the and all this that moved you so much? Why did this why did this become such a cause for you?
Well, it's definitely my favorite movie theater in the world, and I think it's one of the most iconic buildings in the city of Los Angeles. So I think having it abandoned for 6 years straight was kind of shocking to me, and I thought like at least I should be letting people know what's going on with the situation of it because like a lot of people thought it was just very mysterious, which it kind of was, but I just wanted to inform people of what was going on, and my intentions were always to try and reopen the theater. And I think it's also the best movie theater in the world, so I think people deserve to watch movies inside of the Cinerama Dome.
Are you an LA native? Did you grow up going to the Dome, or when?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in LA, but I used to like drive all the way from Calabasas to the
Oh,
Cinerama Dome. Like, it would start off as like weekly, once a week, and then I went to ArcLight Sherman Oaks a lot,
mhm.
like almost every other day, and then I kind of started going to ArcLight Hollywood because that had like the limited release strategy. It was usually just that theater and then New York City, and then like literally right up until its closure, I just went more and more to the Cinerama Dome.
The so what? Tell me, you alluded to this, but the, as it was going on, there was a suspicion that the people who owned it actually didn't want to reopen it. And what was they alternately would say nothing for years on end, or and be very uh, withholding with any kind of details, and then the things they did say aroused suspicion. Like, can you tell me about that? What was happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, throughout the 6 years, the property owner never responded to my emails or phone calls. I even showed up to their office in person, but there was like no one there. It was very odd. And then
And who were they?
it's like the Decurion Corporation and then their subsidiary Robertson Properties Group. And yeah, and then they just didn't respond. But after like my projection thing, I started to notice that they were viewing like my LinkedIn profile
Mm,
and they followed me on
uh,
social media, which I guess makes sense.
they were
But
aware of you, but
they just
didn't
didn't want
want.
to talk. Yeah.
So what was the suspicion that they're actual? Because generally, you own a property, you buy a big landmark property of it, you want to have it open and be making what money you can off it. So what was suspicion of what they were really up to there?
Well, I mean, no one really knows, and I don't know, but just from speculating, because they also own other historic movie theaters, and those have sadly been vacant and abandoned for like over 25 years.
Which are some of
And
the other ones they own?
they own the historic Warner Cinerama on Hollywood
Mm.
Boulevard, and I've seen pictures and videos of the inside, and it's like the balcony is about to collapse, and like it looks like a horror movie inside. But I mean, just from speculation and from what like other industry people have told me, they're like, oh, maybe it's gonna be like a demolition by neglect. But I mean, I don't know what
So
was
so, so this is,
there.
normally, I might say, well, we shouldn't speculate without getting without getting their input, their feedback, and their side of it. But when they've spent 6 years refusing to give their feedback, I think that opens the door to, we're allowed to just do sort of idle speculation here. And the idea that they would buy a extremely prominent property like this, maybe one of the 10 most prominent properties in all of Los Angeles, and that they would just let it sit open and seemingly ignore attempts by others to take it over, and have no plans for it for years on end. It seemed like this idea that, like, they were hoping at some point that they could say, well, this place is just dead, and apply to demolish it and put up condos or something. Is that?
I mean, yeah, it's also interesting because their family built it and they've owned it since 1963. So I was hoping that they would just reopen it themselves as an ArcLight because I was a big fan of how they operated ArcLight.
Um, what happened that do you have any intel on what made them lose interest and stop pursuing that? And
Well, I mean, like obviously it's not confirmed, but from the person that I was talking to, who was like one of the contractors hired to do the renovations, he had told me originally it was like a $25 million renovation, and like I even have like the blueprints from like city documents, and it seemed like an amazing renovation. It would have like been what do you call it? It would have been like an homage to the Cinerama format, even through the ArcLight
hmm,
lobby and all of that. But then he said they tried to get it down to like 2 million, and then they just canceled it completely. So my guess is, just from speculating, they probably thought like box office wasn't doing well and theatrical exhibition won't make them money. And I've read too also like Christopher Foreman's book and like his philosophy in the Decurion Corporation, and it seems like they're really focused on just making money, and not taking like major financial risks. So yeah.
yeah. So it's fine for people to be bad or incompetent or greedy landlords, or whatever it is that happens in the world. but generally, when there's I mean, not just a landmark property, but one of the signature landmark properties of the entire region, at some point the government steps in and says, "Hey, you either do something or I don't know, declare we're going to declare eminent domain, or we're going to get you out of here, or force a sale, or at the very least publicly humiliate you until you're shamed into selling it or something." What when did you reach out much to the politicians who represent the mayor's office and the council office and supervisor along the way? Because that one thing that shocked me in this entire 6 year battle is I don't recall hearing a peep from any elected official about this.
Yeah, I reached out to most of like the politicians, and I reached out multiple times and never received a response.
No one, you in all your outreach to all the politicians, they never responded at all.
No.
And this was 6 years. Astonishing. It
Yeah.
was because it was for this to sit empty like that. It was such a terrible message that the capital of it just on Sunset and Vine, like the most prominent corner intersection in the industry, the most one of the most recognizable sites, and that for this just to sit gated up for years just sent a message to the community and to the world that this city has given up on its signature industry, and we're just not we just don't think it's worth the trouble anymore, and better to just do some mixed use condo thing with a Sephora in the ground floor than try to keep this going. It is. Were you surprised at how little the politicians were willing to get involved?
I was kind of surprised. I mean, it was just kind of depressing that like they didn't seem to care, but I mean, a lot of like famous and like industry figures told me that it'd be impossible to convince the property ownership to either reopen it themselves or lease it to another exhibitor. But I mean, I just figured like why not like keep trying, like no one else is trying.
I mean, if say on I don't know 3 years into this, the mayor and the city council person and the supervisor had shown up in front of that and held a press conference with pictures of the owners blown up on giant poster boards, and just said they think that this is a disgrace and something has to be done. I'll bet you things would have happened. And I'll bet you if
Yeah,
they repeated that press conference every month until it did, it'd be amazing the things that just can't happen that suddenly can happen.
yeah.
And so, tell me about your campaign and how what you had. Tell me about you had your Twitter account and you were sort of tracking the movements, and what else did you do there?
Yeah, so I did like public records requests weekly. I would show up sometimes to like I think the city hall thing, because sometimes the public records requests you can't get like digital. If it's like important, you have to go in person and like get it. But I mean, it was interesting to see how like the Department of Building and Engineering and Safety works, and public
What
records.
what do you learn about that, and what sort of things did you find out?
I mean, I learned about the like I kind of always knew about it, but it was never like in my consciousness that you could like get public records requests for everything. So I got like thousands of emails between the city and like the property developer, and yeah, and also the thing that also was giving me hope was that they still had the building permit to renovate and reopen. They just renewed it literally every 6 months for 6 years or 5 years. So
And
that was good.
and they could keep doing that indefinitely, or was there a
Yeah,
limit?
they could do it pretty much indefinitely because it's a historic property. So, I mean, the city of Los Angeles, I mean, it was a good thing that it kept getting extended, because then if like now that Alamo is taking over, it would probably take years to start construction, but luckily they said that they're going to start next month.
That's great. How long have they said that will take?
I believe I'm pretty in the PR statement. It said that it's going to reopen in 2028. But just for me, like I'm hoping that they can open it earlier because I know the Cinerama Dome actually has a certificate of occupancy, so they could in theory reopen it. But I'm not, and like also they said they're not going to do like massive changes to the dome.
I mean, how much construction does it? They were in pretty good shape when they closed it. These places weren't crumbling when they shut down.
Yeah, I don't think they're crumbling. I think they've just been sitting empty for 6 years. I know it's been kind of maintained the interior of the Cinerama Dome. I spoke with people who've been inside of it like for the last few years who like just gone in to see it, but they said it's just like a little bit dusty, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like some other theaters that were largely in disuse, but yeah. So I gotta say your account, the way you tracked the details and you provided all the information and kept it in the public eye, really kept this from. I mean, there was no other media that was staying on this story and continuing to beat the drum about opening this. And I can't imagine that without your work there, that this would have this would have continued, that this wouldn't have just sort of slid into the background and just become something that. How does that feel to when how did it feel when at the end of this long road when you heard the news that that Alamo was taking over and this would reopen?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited, and it's crazy that like in 2020 it would be the media reporting it would reopen in 2021, and then 2021 they said 2022, then 2022 to 2023, then to 24, and then 24 came, or maybe even 25 came around. The media just like gave up. They didn't want to report on it, which was frustrating. But I think a major turning point was when I projected onto the dome.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I hired a professional projectionist to just project the images of the owners onto the dome, asking them to reopen it. And then, well, we got shut down, and the ownership wanted us to stop, so he stopped right away. I had no intentions of angering them. And then just a few weeks later, there was a public hearing town hall, and their property representative was asked a question about my projection and campaign, and the property representative said that the ownership took notice to extreme public interest in reopening the theater. So that was like the first public response I've had by them about my campaign. So that was pretty amazing. And then after that, I had posted that we're giving them a deadline of August 20th to either reopen it themselves or lease it to another exhibitor. And then just a few months later, or sometime after that, can't remember how much time later, I was contacted by Sony before the public knew.
What did they say when they reached out to you?
I can't talk about that, but sorry.
They told you this was going to happen, more or less, or?
Yeah, I was briefed by them. Yeah.
Yeah. During the course of your campaign here, I mean, you really became the focal point for a whole movement. Did a lot of Hollywood people reach out to you and want to get involved and cheer you on there?
Yeah, Sean Baker and Edgar Wright have been extremely helpful, just amplifying my posts and just sharing and just giving me ideas on like what to do throughout 6 years. And I mean, just them sharing my posts was extremely helpful. And yeah, I mean, it blew, like the social media campaign blew up. I have so many like celebrities and industry figures following it. And then I'm just very grateful that Sony thought of me and contacted me. They didn't have to do that, but they seem interested in
Uh,
my
I mean,
campaign.
I know from talking to them in the last day that they are fans of all you've done to keep this in the public eye. So,
Yeah,
uh,
they were extremely nice to me and very excited, and yeah, they seemed like great leadership.
the what do you have a day job here on top of all this, or what's your
I still go to. I'm still in film school, and
oh
then I'm working on the Save Your Cinema brand, and we're actually. I mean, I can't say much, but we're working on reopening the historic Bruin Theater in
oh wow.
Westwood.
Is
We're
that
not doing.
I've wondered about that. So are things happening there?
I mean, I can't say much about it, but hopefully within like the near term,
Hmm,
like next few weeks or months, there'll be an announcement. But we're working on reopening that,
that's
and
exciting.
then yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping to kind of get the Savior Cinema brand like
The
forward.
are you, where are you in film school?
I go to California State University Northridge.
Right. Are your classmates? Are you a hero to your classmates for what you've done here, and are they amazed?
Yeah, yeah.
That glad to hear that. Much deserved.
Thank you.
Do you want to be a filmmaker yourself, or what?
Yeah, I've made a few different short films, and I'm planning on a feature film. I just need to like kind of stay focused, but yeah, I definitely plan on combining the Savior Cinema with my career of filmmaking and amplifying my films and maybe even documentaries about various theaters. I started a TikTok account. I've only made like one video of like explaining theater history, but I definitely look forward to making more videos and just informing the general public about the history of different movie theaters in Los Angeles and whatever I find interesting.
With this news, it, from some dark days. It's kind of a renaissance here of the great cinemas with what's happened to the Village and hopefully the Bruin uh, to follow being restored. With the dome back on with what the Academy's new theater with the all the American Cinematheque is doing, which is mind-boggling the amount of the audiences they get and everything, the special screenings of Hollywood Forever and all that. What do you feel like we're living in a golden age of a new golden age of repertory cinema here?
Yeah, I definitely think like the more historic cinemas are going to be much more popular now, and I think the younger generation will definitely be making like the movie going experience more of an actual experience as opposed to just staying home and watching it on TV. And I think in some ways, like the more historic theaters will be more popular than like the multiplexes, just because people are seeking like a grander experience and something that you can't get at home. And yeah, and a lot of times too, the historic theaters are like the presentation is a little bit better, and like the people who own it care more than maybe like your more traditional like massive movie theater company.
The so do you feel like your generation that you find that this speaks to them, the idea of the magic of movie going and seeing it in a palace on the big screens?
Yeah,
Is
for
that
sure. And I definitely think a lot of people kind of forgot or maybe even haven't experienced the Cinerama Dome. And I think when it reopens, it's going to be extremely popular. And I know even before, like back when it was still open, the ArcLight Hollywood complex was the highest grossing movie theater in the country. So I'm sure it can go back to
oh,
that too.
yeah, good reason for them to keep it closed for 6 years.
Yeah.
Um, well, I hope when it reopens there will be a plaque to you in there because you deserve it, and
Thank
I
you.
hope I hope you're really enjoying this moment, and I hope everybody watching see, this is an incredible story of what one person can do, and he moved mountains and saved a huge piece of cinema legacy that was shamefully closed. So I thank you for joining us, and thank you for all you've done, Ben.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank
You
you for everyone watching.
come again and update us as the crusade continues. We'll see you soon. The man of the
Thank you.
hour, Ben Steinberg. Save your cinemas. Take care.